Hi, everyone. We are here for our second legislative update for Moms for Liberty, El Paso County. I don't have a ton of updates today because there's been a lot of delays going on with the bill that we talked about last week. Thanks to the gun bills that are going through and a couple other hot topic bills, a lot of this stuff is just getting delayed, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The more time that the legislator is delayed and can't pass these horrific bills, the better. So just going to go straight into the first bill that we'll discuss today, which is House Bill 231109. And we discussed this bill last week. This is school policies and student conduct. And this is the bill that establishes that schools have to have special hearings and account for certain data before they discipline a child. It is another attempt by the left to say that kids are punished in schools because of the color of their skin. We know that's not true. We just want all of our kids to have an equal education, and we want the kids that are behaving badly to be punished so that they don't drag other students down. So, again, this is House Bill 231109, school policies and student conduct. This is going to go through committee, the education committee, on Wednesday, the 29th at 1:30. And we will send an update on this. This was one that was previously supposed to go through March 2nd and never did. So again, we'll put an update out for this one for you guys so that you can testify, send your public comments, or anything that you can do to help stop this bill. That leads me into the next bill, which is similar in concept. It's Senate Bill 29 of 2023. I have talked about this bill extensively. We've got a lot of posts circulating about it. We talked about it in our last legislative update. This is concerning addressing disproportionate discipline in public schools. This is the bill that stipulates that schools are going to have to form committees and account for color of kids' skin and their backgrounds, their sexual orientation before kids are punished, before they're expelled. This bill goes a step further than the bill that I just talked about, 1109, Senate Bill 29. In my mind, and once you start reading the bill, I actually encourage. This is one bill that I would like everybody to read this year. This is the whole problem with our education system right now. This bill takes the assumption that schools are inherently racist, that teachers are inherently racist, administration is inherently racist, and that schools are there to keep kids of a certain color down or to not help them succeed. Now, we know that's not the case. There are plenty of good teachers in our state, there's plenty of good school administrators. This is just an attempt to force the left's agenda by convincing schools that everybody's racist. So this bill was delayed. This was supposed to go through the or the Senate Education Committee on March 6th. This is going through on March 22nd. Actually, I don't know if it was delayed, but it's going through on March 22nd. So if you guys could testify on that or send public comments in, that would be great. This was one of the worst education bills that to pass through since I've been watching education bills. Now, we have also talked about Senate Bill 20 or Senate Bill 43 of 2023 before. This is a fairly innocuous bill. This has bipartisan sponsorship. This is going to be talked about in the near future, so just keep your eye on it. It's concerning continuation of the school access for emergency response program. This is to extend funding for SAFER. SAFER is the program that allows schools to communicate with criminal justice agencies, and that's an ongoing communication. And so we really want this bill to pass. There should be no reason why it doesn't. It's sponsored by Van Winkle and Colker in the Senate and Michelson, Janae, and Catlin in the House. So it has bipartisan support in both chambers. So this will be a good one that if you don't like to testify, or if you don't like to go up there and fight, just send a thank you. Just send a thank you for funding to our legislators for keeping this keeping this funding to keep our kids safe. Um, Now, the next bill that I'm going to talk about is also another piece of legislation we touched on last week. This is going to go through the Education Committee on March 23rd in the House. This is concerning authorizing a public school to offer individualized learning. This is something that we want. We want schools, whether they're public or private, to have access to individualized learning. Not all kids learn at the same pace, and we're here to fight for kids. So it's important that we sponsor this bill. It is sponsored by Soper and Michelson Janae in the House. So again, bipartisan sponsorship in the House. And then in the Senate, it's sponsored by Janice Rich, who is a conservative. It's just important for our kids to have as many school choices as we can possibly give them. Extreme risk protection order petitions we talked about last week. I'm just going to briefly touch on that. Obviously, that atrocious piece of legislation passed. It's going to, teachers are now going to have the right to call in red flag orders on students, families. It's really not spelled out well in the bill itself. So it's obviously just another slippery slope type piece of legislation. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. The only way to fight that piece of legislation now is in the courts, and that is coming. Now, the next bill that I want to talk about is actually not an education bill, but it pertains to our children. So we're going to touch on it. We need all the help we can get on this bill. And it is Senate Bill 188 of 2023. And it's titled Concerning Protections for Accessing Reproductive Health Care. So it sounds like this is just a bill about abortion. It is not. It actually, this bill not only is going to force insurance providers, third-party payers, it's not only forcing them to now cover or codifying covering abortion, but they've snuck something into this bill. So gender affirming healthcare services, and they do include minors in this bill. So at present, I know that there are some lobbyists working on getting a study on this bill, getting some research done, because this could violate the one issue, one payer issue that's coming into play in this bill. We're not entirely confident that the Democrats can lump reproductive health care, otherwise known as murder. I don't know if anyone can answer me why the Democrats like to kill babies so much. It's one thing to fight for, human rights and that type of thing, but they tend to look at abortion as if this is something that we should be glorifying. And that's actually what this bill does. Like I said, it takes it a step further and will be forcing gender reassignment surgery into the bill, which is nothing more than mentally ill individuals trying to make the outside of their body match whatever they've got going on upstairs. It's time that we stop coddling mental illness. People that are mentally ill, they need treatment, they need access to therapy. A lot of times they need medication, they need to be in a special institution. But what they don't need is to force the taxpayers to pay to cut their genitalia off. And of course, this bill is sponsored by Gonzalez and Marquez Lewis in the Senate. And then in the House, it's sponsored by Freilich and Tatone, who is our transgender legislator up in House District 29, if I remember right. So he comes in and writes laws that, try to distract from his own mental issues. So we need to be as loud as we can about this bill. This definitely affects our children. This actually puts into law protections for healthcare providers that mutilate the bodies of children. So, like I said, we are all over this bill. This is, as of right now, going to be heard tomorrow in the Health and Human Services Committee in the Senate, upon adjournment, which, um, knowing the Democrats, it'll be like 9 o'clock in the morning because they try to force stuff through really quickly. But we'll send out an update in the morning so that you guys are aware. And we'll send the link to sign up to testify, assuming that this bill doesn't get pushed off again. So, anyways, I know I talk really, really fast, and I hope that that all makes sense. You guys can reach out to me or reach out to Moms for Liberty El Paso County anytime that you've got questions about these bills, or if there's anything that we can help you with, even if you see a piece of legislation that you just need help with, or you need to know who to get into contact with, which legislator, which lobbyist, where do you go to testify, just contact us. That's what we're here for. We're here as a resource to put you in a better position to fight for parental rights. So thank you all for being here, and we will see you again on Friday at 1 o'clock.